This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so these are few test cases. In high level, it is mentioned step by step need to write in the project level if it is required. Otherwise, nowadays, in high level, one liner only they are writing in many projects. So it is collected about 46 test cases. So these are very common test cases if you can go for any kind of project for ETL testing. These are common test cases only. And apart from that, you need to add few more test cases based on the requirement. So each and every release, you will get one requirement document. Need to go through clearly all the sentence, all the words, and need to understand all the flow end to end. And which are extra out of all these, those need to write few more test cases. So that will come around 15, 20 or 30 test cases. So altogether 70 to 80 test cases we have to use in the ETL testing. Apart from the report testing, then apart from application level, only for ETL, extract, transform and load related only. Okay, so we'll start with scratch level. What will be the test cases? First one is mapping document validation. So whenever you will work in any ETL testing, you will get few documents. One is mapping document and another is requirement document. So two types of document you will receive. Okay, one is mapping document, another is requirement document. So requirement document, you can receive any kind of project. That can be application testing or automation testing or development support. Any project you are working, requirement document is compulsory you will get. That is a common document for all type of project. Second document which will receive is the mapping document. This is only for ETL. If you are working in ETL project, you can receive this document. So here what will be mentioned in this mapping document? All the table and column from source and target which are linked or mapped, that only it will be mentioned here. Suppose in source, in your source one table is there, EMP table name, and there some names are there, column names, F name, then L name, then EID, like that. These are the names. And another target table you have EMPL. Suppose EMPL is the target table name. It can be same, it cannot be same. All the column names and table name. So here for this EMPL target table, they have give the column name as FN and last name as LN and employee ID as EMP underscore ID. Suppose. So these are mapping. EMP data will come to EMP1 column. FNAME column data will come to FNAME, FN column. LNAME will come to LN. EID will come to EMP underscore ID. It can be same also. Few columns can be same also. It is not mandatory that all will be different and all will be same. It can be same. It cannot be same. Okay. So here also it can be same. No issue. So depend upon the requirement how they are giving. It depends. So which column is linked with which column, which table is linked with which table, those informations only it will mention in this mapping document. It will come as a Excel sheet or it can come as a Word document. Anything is fine how they are providing. And apart from that, if you are working or you are involved in another part, BI report we discussed on that day. If you are involved in that BI report also, then another document you will receive that is called as calculation sheet. Okay, so here some formula will be there, which type of calculations are required and what is the formula need to use. Based on that only you have to calculate, you have to write the query and you have to calculate in the UI part also. So in this way, three types of documents you will receive. If BI report you are not involved, this one you will not get. If mapping document you are not receiving, means ETL you are not involved, then mapping document you will not receive, only requirement document. So as part of ETL testing, if you are going into ETL testing and mapping document is not received, you don't have, immediately you can raise your concern. I don't have any mapping document. I cannot start my testing. In many projects, they are not giving also, developers should prepare. They are ignoring that. And if no document, nothing is there, mapping related and you are starting testing, you cannot proceed anything. So this is the prerequisites or means important criteria which will be mandatory required for ETL tester, and tester should raise this concern. Nobody can raise this concern. You are a tester, you have to ask that. You have to raise your voice that I don't have mapping document, I cannot start my testing. Okay, so once all these are ready, then you can finalize or you can confirm which version you receive. So here requirement document, mapping document, BI report document, those are prepared by a development team, otherwise business analyst team, BA people also they are preparing. So first of all, if they are preparing, they will give version number 1 for that document. Another team members will be reviewed that and they will make some changes, version number 2. Then it will go to some other team also, they can change after reviewing version number 3. Like that some updation will happen in that, and it will be finalized after few versions. So that final may be the V7, version number 7 or version number 8 or anything, or version number 1.0. So which version you are receiving, make sure that is the final version or not. If you receive V6 version number 6 but your final version is V1.5 or something, so that is not a final. In middle it was there, that is not updated one, but you started your testing by referring that. So maybe some will be correct, some will be not correct. So which are not correct, incorrect things you are doing testing, and at the end you will get the problem. And if some complaints will come or why you missed, no answer, nothing. So make sure every time that which documents you are receiving, that is the final version or not. Verbally don't accept. You can send a mail, is this requirement document or is this mapping document is a final version, please confirm. If you are receiving some confirmation mail, then that will be your approved, or that will be your final one, and you have the proof that I already received from this person as a mail. Don't take it verbally. Verbally will not work out, you will be in trouble only. So after confirming all these documents with the final version, then you can start doing means writing the test cases, then you can proceed for the execution part also. Okay, first one is mapping document validation. So which document you receive, in that document proper information is there or not. First of all, you need to check all those. So this will not first one. This is the test scenario, means high level it is mentioned the name, what type of test cases, and under that some detail level test cases are present. Okay, so here mapping document validation, this you have to do from your own side only. Don't write any test case for that. This is required for everybody. That's why I mentioned here. So what to verify here? Verify mapping document whether corresponding ETL information is provided or not. So in that mapping document, what type of ETL informations are provided? Any transformation is there, then it is mentioned or not. Router transformation, aggregator, shutter, those will cover in Informatica module. So those are covered or not here in this document. And extract from when and where it will extracted. What is the source name? What is the target name? Where it will be loaded? When it will be loaded? What type of transformations will be happen? So all those things would be mentioned in that document. Next is ensure the change log maintained in every mapping document. Change log means that version. So which version number you are getting, that is the latest one or updated one or not. That is second thing. And third one is define the default test strategy if mapping documents are missed. If they are not providing any mapping document due to some reason, maybe some reason can happen, time constraint, limitation of time, or suddenly one requirement came, something can be happen. So in that case, you are not receiving the document. So what to do in that case? One strategy you need to prepare, one test strategy. So what is that? You can means write a mail and mention that we need one meeting to discuss about all these mapping related informations or requirement related information, and arrange a meeting. That is your part only. Arrange a meeting, and development people, test lead or manager or any stakeholder from client side, they will attend that meeting. Business analyst, send to everybody, attend that meeting, and whatever discussion is going on related to mapping related or document requirement related, note down all those points, and immediately after complete that meeting, send a mail to all who attended and mention that please clarify or Please confirm whatever we discussed. Those points are mentioned here. If any additional points are there or anything is missed, please let us know so that we can start our testing. So that somebody will reply, BA or development means somebody, then you can behave, that is your proof. So you have to find out something as a proof in mail only. If document, then fine, you can take that as a proof with mail. If no document, also fine, you can take that as a proof in mail by sending some points. Without any proof, if you are starting, at the end you will be in trouble, you will be in blame only. So this is very fundamental things, and many people are facing problem after joining 3-year, 4-year, 5-year experience. So this one don't write in your test cases, but you should know that. Okay, from here onwards mapping, you have to write the test cases. Okay, so now mapping validation. Verify the business table names. So your table names will be not like XYZ, ABCD, 1, 2, 3, 4. Some table names will be there which are business related. Patient address, one business related. Based on the patient only, the address are mentioned and company is doing the business. So all table names and all column names are business table names and column names. So those business table names and column names which are coming from the source. Here it is mentioned ODS. So depend upon some project it is called as ODS. So leave about that. You can just concentrate source and target. Other things you can leave. This is from one project it is used. So ODS and some other names are there. So you can just consider source target. That's all. Okay, so here verify the business table names mapped from source to target by referring mapping document. So verify that your source table name is mentioned like EMP we have discussed few minutes before, and target table name also mentioned. Which one? That should be present in this mapping document. That is the first one. If target table name is not mentioned, source table name is mentioned, or only source is mentioned, or source is not mentioned, only target is mentioned, or both are not mentioned, problem. How you will test, how you will proceed. So both should be mentioned, source as well as target. What is the table name? If one table name, then fine. If 10 table names, then fine. But whatever it is required, it should be mentioned, and based on that only you have to proceed. Okay, so what will be the expected result? Table mapping should be proper. Properly the mapping should be there. Okay. Next, column names. All the business column names. One table can contain maybe 100 columns, 250 columns, 300 columns. So all those column names should be mentioned or mapped with the target table. So in your target table, which column to which column the data will come from source to target. All those lists should be given in Excel sheet or Word document. The expected result is column mapping should be proper. Okay, next your first testing will be structure or metadata testing or baseline testing. Okay, so what is that testing? Maybe in software testing concepts or manual testing, many people are telling you know about one testing that is called as smoke testing. So what is that smoke testing? Smoke testing means very initial level of testing in application or data side or anything which is mandatory, and only the basic functionality or basic features need to test, important one only, not go into in-depth, and that is not working, then immediately inform to the developer, and once fixed only we can proceed, otherwise we have to stop our testing. That is called as smoke testing. So here, if you are working in ETL testing, mostly you will not get any application level of testing. Manual testers are doing that, otherwise Selenium or other people are doing that. And application will be not involved mostly. Sometimes it will involve, then that is fine. So if no application, then how you will tell and what is the smoke testing? This is only one kind of smoke testing. Structure testing or metadata or baseline testing, we can tell in ETL terminology. But as per our understanding, which we learned earlier, in that way, if we correlate, then this will be the smoke testing, initial level. So here, what to test in the structure testing? All the structure of table. So first one is verify the table names is present or not in your source and target. So these are some project related terminology you can ignore. So verify the table names are present in the source and target or not. So how to check practically source and target table name is present or not? Describe your source table name in that schema. Suppose HR schema we are doing. In office you will get some other schema, XYZ, anything. So that's schema name dot table name. If it is not present, then it will display table is not present. So same thing you can do for target also. Otherwise, select start from that schema name dot table name. You can get that. If it is satisfying, then in actual result you can mention as expected. No need to mention it is working, it is present, all those things. In simple word, you can mention as expected. So whatever we are expecting or expected result is there, that it is matching. So in actual result as expected you can mention, and if it is as expected, then status will be pass. This test case is pass. If any comment is there, you can mention in this comment box. Okay, next one is here table is present or not you checked in source and target. Next is field names, all the columns. Suppose in your source table it is mentioned in your mapping document 253 columns, and in target it is mentioned 247 columns. So source target you can check all those column count, then sequence of columns, and another is column names exact spelling. Maybe it will be 300, 400, 200 columns. It will be time taking process and manual only, no automation for this. But you have to do that. If 10 tables, then 2000 column names or 3000 column names need to check one by one with all the names. Okay, so name checking is very difficult one, sequence and name, all those things. Difficult means time taking only, but no other alternative way. We have to do that. Okay, so all the field names or column names from source table as well as target table which are mentioned in the document need to verify sequence wise also. Okay, so next test case is for sequence. One is for only field name check, another is for sequence check, another is for table name check. So here sequence how to check, describe only, describe that table name. We can get the sequence wise all the list of field names 1, 2, 3, 4 sequence wise only. So in that way, with your document both are same or not. Take the screenshot. Verify the column data type. Okay, now column data type. Which column is having what type of data type? Number or string character, varchar2, or another is straight data type. So which column is having which data type will be mentioned in that mapping document or in your requirement document. Based on that, you can check that table source and target. Describe source table name, describe target table name. You will get all the data types of those columns. So all those are correct or not. Next is precision or length. So in the data type, while creating a table, length also it will be there, number 10, varchar 220. So those lengths also it will come in this describe source table name and target table name. So in that length is correct or not for all the columns. Okay, so these few are mandatory and very initial level only need to test, and it will take some time. Don't take more than half day or 1 day. Maximum 1 day only you will get for all the structure metadata baseline related testing if it is a big requirement. If it is small requirement, then just 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour only you have to complete. And these are very initial level. If these are not satisfying, column count is not correct, some columns are missing, then column name is not correct, table name is not correct, then length is not correct. So here only you have to stop. If you will proceed also, lot of problem will get. That's why we can stop here only. No need of further proceed. So this is called as smoke testing in ETL testing level. So ETL terminology wise, we can tell it as a structure testing or metadata testing or baseline testing, very base part we have to test. If all these are fine, or something is not fine and developer people fix that, then we can proceed with rest test cases in detail level. Okay, so next will come, which are very important and should not miss, and compulsory you have to do in very in detail manner and way. I already highlighted in yellow color. We'll share this document also in that drive. So don't miss all those and try to understand more and more. Highlighted one. So next will be your row count and column count. In source, we need to find out row count. In target, we need to find out row count. Similarly, in source, column count, in target also column count. In your document, if it is mentioned, target table can contain 127 columns or 255 columns. And in your target table, if you are counting, then it is mentioned like 3 or 1 columns are missed. 127 is mentioned, but you are getting 125 or you are getting 129. So that is a problem, bug. You have to raise that as a bug. So that is called as column count. And another is row count. How many rows are there in your source as well as target? It can be same or it will not same. If it is mentioned in your document that all rows will come to your target, no missing anything. Suppose 1000 rows are there in your source, 1000 should be available in target. So that also need to check. So this test case is called as row count and column count. So how to check the row count and column count? Can you tell? By using the query? Query only need to write here. These are test case only with expected result and test case steps or test case name. But whenever you will verify all these using query only, so all these structure related testing, the query is describe table name. Now coming to this row count and column count, what will be the query? Can you tell? Already we discussed how to check.
Select count of star table all column 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 table all table columns where table name is equal to that table name.
Okay. Okay, so select count star from all tab columns where table name equal to that your source table or target table name you have to keep within single quote, and that table name will be in capital letter.
Capital letter.
Okay, so that is the column count, and another is row count. Row count is simple only select count star from table name. That is row count. Okay. Next is data cleansing. So in our ETL data warehouse module 1 class, we discussed the levels, how it is means flowing the data from starting to ending, from upstream system to all downstream system, how it is flowing. So in that, landing area is there. This raw data will come first to the landing area, and from landing area it will move to the staging area. So while the data is moving from landing area to staging area, all are not corrected data. Those are raw data only. So we need to means find out which are the correct data and which will flow to the staging area, which are incorrect or wrong informations we will not move to the staging area. So that is called as data cleaning or data cleansing. So here we have to check few test cases for data cleansing activity. Ensure that unnecessary columns are deleted in the staging area before loading into data warehouse. So whenever the data are going from landing to staging, in that case, we have to verify that unnecessary columns should not be moved. Suppose 127 columns are required in our target table. In our source table, 200 columns are there. So which columns should be present finally? Those columns only we can check and move. Other columns, why unnecessary, will move to staging area. In staging area, only the business logic will be implemented. Unwanted things will be removed earlier only before staging. Means while coming to staging, unwanted things already removed. It should be removed. Otherwise, again it will be double tax in staging area. And as per the process wise also, that is not the good approach. So unwanted columns should not move. That is one test case. Another one is ensure that if column name having any extra space, then trim space before loading the data. Okay, so if any column name is having some spaces, that is not the good approach. Suppose EMP E, then MP ID. It should not having any space. E space MP ID. So this type of things are there. Then also we have to rectify that. Okay, so this is in column level as well as in data level also we have to trim that. In data level also, if any data is there, suppose one address is there or one city name is there. City name is anything we can take Hyderabad. So continuously the city name is one word. So if in your requirement it is mentioned that city name or state name they have given, that is only one word. Whatever names are there, 1000 names or 2000 names, all are in only one word. But few are mentioned like this as space. So it will consider as a two word. So this is a problem. It is incorrect. So we can make it correct, or we can ask the client, or we can ask to the person who is sharing the data. They can rectify and send us the correct information. So how to check? In that column, how many words are there? Already we discussed in one class. So you have to ensure that that column contains only one word, not two words, so that if any value is coming which is having two words, that is a bug. So this type of cleansing activity need to do in the landing area in table level only. It can be table, it can be any server, it can be Excel sheet, it can be text file, it can be anything. That's why we are telling it as an area or server. But in real time, if you will work, all will be in table only. 95-97% will be table only. So if any spaces are there in the data, then how to fix that? Trim. Using trim, we can remove all the unwanted spaces. Trim function is there, that is coming under one string related function, that also we covered. In some projects they are asking to the testers only. If this type of things are there, you can only trim and send to the staging area. So in that case we have to do. In some projects they are asking to the development team only. This is not tester task, development people can do, and you can throw the data, that is fine. Or we can ask to the upstream system which are who are providing the data. They can rectify and again provide to us. Anything is fine, but we should know from our side also. If they are asking, we have to do, then no other alternative options. You have to use and you have to do that. So if we are only doing for the data trimming with the spaces, trim function is there. It will trim all the spaces, unwanted spaces in memory. Next one is ensure that multiple column values from source tables are coming into single column of target table with concatenate as per the requirement. Okay, so this is not the business logic. This is just the small basic information. So we can clarify here in this cleansing level only. Suppose first name is there in the source table and last name is there in the source table. But coming to this target table, it is coming something as different. In target table, only one name is there. So first name is suppose Rakesh and last name is suppose uh, Farida, Rakesh P, and one dot will come. This is the requirement in the target table. So how it will come? You have to write one query in the source table. You have to write the query in the target table. In target table, simple. Select start from the table name. It should display Rakesh P dot. In source table, how to write the query? This question also we discussed. You have to do the concatenation, and first character of last name it will take. One space will be there. It will concatenate, and one dot will be there. If it is matching in both the cases, then that is fine. But whenever we are going to the staging table, this type of name should be present. Suppose this is the requirement. So this we have to do in the data cleansing activity. This is not a business logic. So all the business logic will be implemented in the staging area. Other things will be checked in this data cleansing while the data moving from landing to staging area only. Similarly, another example is given here. Telephone number and STD code in different columns. In your source table, contact number, telephone number is mentioned in one column, and STD code is mentioned, country code is mentioned in another column. So if it is coming to the target table, both are clubbed and combinedly it is coming to the target table. So both we can merge. If any space hyphen is there, it can be concatenated. So this type of things can be done in this data cleansing activity. Okay. Next few columns will be there. Date and data format we have to check. So till now, any questions from anybody?
Sir.
Okay. All are clear? Sipsai, Manasa, Vishnu,
Uh,
all are clear?
yes, sir.
Okay. So these are very, very
Yes, sir.
important. If you will join in any company within 3-4 days only, you have to write this type of test cases and work. So concentrate this, very important. People are joining, but they are not able to perform. They are again searching for job support, all those things. Easy only, nothing easy. Okay, date and data format. Here, validate the extract date format of the required fields. Okay, so many columns will be there. Out of all those columns, few columns will have date related values like joining date, hiring date, exit date, or any business selling date. Any date will be there. 3, 4, 5, 10 columns will be there, date related. So which date column is having what type of format? That we have to verify all the columns. Suppose in a table 10 date columns are there. So all those 10 date column value we have to verify proper format it is there or not in those values. So here many mistake they are doing in many project testers are doing one mistake. What is that? Developer people first they are doing this mistake. To change the different format, it is a complex work, complex task, difficulty. So developer people what they are doing is for all the 10 columns, they are doing as a same format, DDMM YY or MMDD YYYY. Any format they can take, which is the simple way, and same format they are implementing for all the columns. That is easy for them, and they are trying to mold the testers that what is the use of different formats. You can concentrate only one format, and one format is there. This is easy for you, easy for us, and easy for customer also. That's why we done that. So continue your testing in this same format only. Don't bother about any kind of format. And testers are agree on that, and they are testing, and at the end again problem is coming from client side, why it is not checked. These different formats we have given in our document, but you have not validated. What is the reason? No answer from the testers. So lot of problems are happening in that. Don't believe to a manager, don't believe to developer, don't believe to anybody. Take mail only. If developer are telling that this is the only one format and we have to continue our testing, give a mail and CC to your manager and CC to the client also. Then you are fine. You can check with only one format, no problem. If no mail, nothing is there, no proof, then don't believe anybody is telling anything. You can concentrate your document only. Whatever it is mentioned in your document, that you have to test. If wrongly mention any information in your document, fine. That is not your issue. Who prepared the document, that is their issue. So based on your document only, you have to verify. Okay, so if 10 columns are there date related, all 10 columns you have to check and which column is having what type of date format. It can be lot of formats date related. MMDD YY, YYDD MM, then DDMM YY, then again in middle space, colon, hyphen, forward slash, any kind of symbol can come. So out of all those, which format is applicable for which column? Next one is verify the values present in from date and to date. Okay, so in many projects you will get one column will be from date, another column will be to date. Suppose one card you are using, from which date to which date you are using, that will be mentioned. Some employee information, which date he joined and which date he quitted, that it will mention. And suppose any other business activity, uh, selling some product, in which date that is coming, that product came to the store and which date it sold out. So everywhere from date to date will come to the picture in your real-time scenario. So from date should be less than to date. Suppose April month we are considering. April 1 is to date and April 2 is from date. That is a wrong one. April 1 should be from date and April 2 or April 10 should be to date. So always from date should be less than to date. That is one test case you have to verify. If any data you are getting from date is greater than to date, then that is a bug. Okay, so how you can check this? What query need to write? Can you tell? Who can tell this?
Minus query, sir.
No, one table only from date and to date. Suppose this is your target table.
Once again, repeat question, sir.
Two columns are there. One is from date and another is to date. Date values are there in these two columns. So as a tester, we have to validate that from date values should be less than to date values. Suppose out of 1000 rows, in one row from date is greater than to date. So that is a bug. Some issue is there in that row. So how you will validate? How you can find out in that one row it is present to date is less than from date, or from date is greater than to date. How you can check? What query to be write? Simple query only. No need of anything, just operator only.
From which
Select
date the
interested.
greater than to date.
Yes. So select those date columns you can take, or star you can take from the table name where from date is greater than to date. This is the negative one, opposite. If you are getting some data, then that is problem. That is false. If you are not getting, then that is fine. Okay, validate that date field does not contain any junk values, spaces, or all those. Okay, so this is a date, suppose. And here, after this hyphen, two spaces are there in few values, not for all values. So this is a junk values. This is not the correct format. So this is a bug. Thousands of values are there in that column. How you will check? How you will validate using SQL query? Can you tell now? What query to be written for this? You can tell.
Sir, can you once again repeat question?
Okay. So here the test case is validate that date field does not contain any junk value. Means unnecessary value should not be there in the date value. So this is our requirement. Suppose dd hyphen mm hyphen yyyy. In that way only value should be present. So all the values in that particular column should be this type of value only. Suppose in one row it is present same format only, but some spaces are here after hyphen, and before here some spaces are there. So this is one junk value is present, which is unwanted thing. So how you will check this?
Select that column name and which column name is right to care of that date. Trim that date.
No, trim, if you will use, then this space will be deleted. That is another thing. First, you have to find out this type of data is present or not. So
So
trim, if
select
this type of data is present, then developer people fix that by trimming. You will not fix. So how you will find out if this is one data present? How you will find out?
select to date of that column, comma the required format.
Okay, that is one approach. Any other approach? That is good one. Very good. Any other way?
And
Length,
also
you can check length. So here, what will be the length in this format? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If no space, then 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so the value should be 10. The length of this column should be 10. If any value is there less than 10 or greater than 10, then that is a problem. So that is another thing you can check. To date one, you told that is correct one. Length also you can check. So in this way you can check this test case. Next is validate the data format of the other fields as per the document requirement document.
Sir, once again repeat, sir.
Which one?
This 29-03.
One is length and another is to date. Suppose to date is given with that format. So that should support if that format is present. If that format is not there, this one not matching with that format. So it will come with error, or which are not matching, it will display those rows. If anything is displaying, then that is a problem. You can get that. That is one check, and another one is length. need to verify. So length of that column name. If length of the column name is not equal to, you can mention where length of column name is not equal to 10. If it is less than 10 or greater than 10, then that is a problem.
Sir, can we use a like operator there?
Like operator, how you can use here?
Like I will give the underscore, how many character length is there, so that
Okay. Okay, so that also underscore you can use, but little bit confusion it will come. How many underscore you can give? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many you can? That also you can use for checking the length, but length is the best approach. 1, 2 character is there, then underscore is fine. For 10 characters, 10 underscores, that is not the good approach. Okay, so like that one we can give, but that is not looking good. Length is the better one. Again, if you want, then you can use that. No issue. Validate the data format of the other fields as per the document. So except date related field also, some other fields will be there, name, address, phone number, all those things. There also we can check the format. So those are easy only, nothing is there. In date only some complexity will come. Okay, so name, some name should be there, that is present or not. Randomly few column value you can take and check. So serial number or student ID, employee ID, customer number, then address. So few things we can check it randomly. Okay, and here suppose if they have given for this data, it is mentioned in one document, in your requirement document. This column can contain only string value. Suppose first name is there, last name is there, only string value. Then in that case, how to check? Already we discussed that query you can give here. Where uppercase equal to lowercase, if you are giving or not equal to. So we can check which is having numeric, which is not having numeric, which is having string, which is not having string. We can check that. If that is mentioned in the document, not mentioned, then leave that test. Next is null check. This is one important here, mandatory fields. So some columns will be mandatory, means value should be there. It should not allow any null. Any column name we can take. Suppose customer ID is one column. That customer ID, it is mentioned in your document that this is a mandatory columns. So in that customer ID, some value should be there. It should not be empty. That is wrong value or correct value, that is secondary things. But no value means that is a problem. It should not empty. It should not having any null. Some value should be there. How to check this? Can you tell what query? Null check.
Select column name from table name, sir, where column name is not null.
Okay, where column name is not null. So many values will come which are not null. So
Is
how we
null.
will check? Is null. Yes. So is null, opposite way you have to give. Is null if you are giving. Then if anything is displaying, means that is a null. Null, 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 it will display. So if null is coming, means that is a problem. Erase the bug. Okay, verify the other non-mandatory fields. So non-mandatory fields, no problem. It can contain value, it cannot contain value, anything is fine. But mandatory fields, compulsory need to check. Next is pseudo column related test cases. So verify the first added or inserted record, verify the last added inserted record, then top 5 records, then bottom 5 records, all those things need to check using pseudo column. Okay, so verify the first inserted record. How you can check?
Using row num functions.
Row IDs.
Row ID. So
Row num,
whenever
sir. Row ID.
row ID. So whenever the data will be inserted in any table after creating, row
Rank also, sir.
ID will be assigned automatically from the database. So first row ID, suppose it is picking randomly ABC123. The next record or next row, it will assign the row ID value as ABC124. Next will be ABC125. In that way, it will be assigned ascending order wise. So which is the lowest row ID in that table, that is the first inserted record. Which is the highest row ID in that table, that is the last inserted record. So if you are getting what is the highest row ID in that table, what is the lowest, then you can say where you can mention where row ID equal to that one, highest one, lowest one. So one row you will get. That row is the first inserted or last inserted. So in the document, if it is mentioned, first row should be having this information, last row should be having this information. So thousands of rows are there. We can write the query. It will display that particular row, first inserted row, last inserted row. We can check what is the expectation as per the document, that information is present or not. Using row ID, it can be done. Okay, next is verify top 5, top n and bottom n. Top 5, top 10, or top 2, anything you can take records based on the project requirement, both source and target. So in your the requirement document, suppose it is mentioned in target table, first 5 records should contain this type of information. Last 5 records should contain this type of information. Okay, so how to write that query? Top 5 records, bottom 5 records.
Select star from EMP, sir, where row num is less than or equals to 5.
Okay.
It will display first 5 records.
Okay, last 5.
Last 5 records.
No, row num less than equal to 5, first 5 record. So that is for top 5. Fine, correct. Last 5,
Yes,
how
yes.
you will do?
Last 5, select star from subquery. Select star from table name, sir, order by row ID descending, sir. And outside, sir, select star from where row num equals to 1 or less than or equals to 5, sir.
Okay. Okay, so in that way you can write, otherwise minus query also you can use and do. So subquery not covered for others, we'll discuss in next class.
Yes.
Okay, next related is data completeness. Verify the data validation from source and target table by minus query to ensure mismatch records. So here source and target exact value we are going to check. Means all these cell values, this is one cell, this is one cell, this is one cell, all cell values correspondingly it should be set in source as well as target. How to validate? That is minus query. Okay, suppose here in source it is mentioned employee. Okay, employee name is Rakesh. Last name is suppose Sharma. Employee ID is 1. Another name we can give Ramesh. This is the data suppose in source. So coming to target, this is also data. Okay, so how you can validate exactly same things loaded or not in the target? Suppose here R is there, but in target it is capital R. This is not same. Spelling is not same, but pronunciation Rakesh only we can tell. So how you can validate? Or here suppose SH Agrawal. Here it is mentioned double G. Here it is coming as single G. This is also not same. So this type of things manually we cannot do. Thousands of records, thousands crores of values will be there. So how to validate source and target? So in that case, need to write the query select these column names which are required, those column names from table name, source table, suppose table 1, then minus again select those columns which are required from target table. So if 100% exactly same, then nothing will display this result. If something is mismatch, then it will display those rows. This is not matching. Okay, so minus query you have to use here. So one is source minus target and another is target minus source. Both are available. Now here another question they are asking in the interview, without using minus operator, how you can check? So here one tool is available, you can tell we are using one small tool in our project that is called as Beyond Compare tool. You can download today. Okay, maybe it is deleted. I already installed. Okay, we can install now, small one only. Okay, so this is the tool. You can also install. It will not take more time. And expand this. What type of message we have? We have text message. Okay, so here left side one data we can put, right side another data we can put. So we are having this data, suppose source and target. This is the source data. This is the target data. Okay, now if any mismatch is there, then it will display and highlight with some different color. So here G is one color, R is one color. These are the mismatch things. In below also the summary it is displaying. These are the mismatch part. Okay, one difference sections. So all the mismatch part list it will display in below. So from our source we can take here the data. From our target we can take here the data. Okay, so basically this is applicable, or this is the good approach whenever you are receiving the data as file format, text file you are getting. Source is your text file, target is your text file, then this is the good approach. But table is there, then we have to make that as a text file first. So if this is a table, here we'll get some data, select star from HR department. This is the data. So this data, if you are copying there, then maybe may not be, it will come in good way or proper way. Okay, it is coming. In some cases, it will not come also. So if it is not coming, then what to do? First, we have to export that data. Export. If you are exporting, just give some here format will be which format we need. Text format you can give. Then mention some path. By default this path is available, you can change the path also, and what will be your file name that you can give. Then next it will export into one location. Similarly for target as well as source you can export both, so that two will be your text file, then those data you can copy paste here, copy paste, copy paste. If directly copy is not working, in some project it will be blocked or it will not allow, or if you will copy paste also in different format it will come. Okay, so the same thing here also we can copy, suppose right side copy. All these are same. Now no error, nothing is coming. Okay, so this copy paste always it will not work. So in that case, export and do that. So this is another alternative way. In interview, they are asking this question. If minus operator I don't want to use, then how you can check that? Okay, so this is called as data completeness. Minus query you have to give source minus target as well as target minus source. And in that data completeness, intersect also you have to use. Select star from source table name, select star from target table name. In middle, intersect. So whatever the records are there with all those column names available in source, same should be available in target. And if it is displaying 100, if suppose source 100 records are there, in target also 100 are there. Intersect if you are using, then it should come with 100. Okay, out of 100, maybe few are not same and few are same. Suppose 50 are same, then 50 it is coming. That is a problem. All should be same. That's why intersect also we have to use. And anyway, if it is not same, it will be identified in minus only. So minus compulsory you have to check, already highlighted in yellow. And this one, if you are not checking also, indirectly it will be covered in minus only if any mismatch is there. Okay, so that is called as data completeness testing. Next is duplicate check. Duplicate already we discussed. One is column level duplicate and another is row level duplicate or record level duplicate. This is also important one. Don't miss this test case. Verify the column level duplicate. How to find out the column level duplicate? Suppose in your document it is mentioned customer ID should not be duplicate. It should be unique value. How you will check that customer ID column?
Select customer ID
Okay.
from the table, uh, group by that column, and their count of having greater than sorry.
So you can group with that column, and if in that group more than one time it is present, 10 10 10 10 20 20 20, more than one time present, then how to check having count star greater than 1. So if it is present more than one time, then it
It's
is
a
duplicate.
Duplicate value.
That is column level duplicate. Another is record level duplicate. Record level duplicate, it will not mention in the document. This is a GK, common knowledge of ETL tester. In data warehouse table, in fact table, in final table, duplicate record is not allowed. So what is duplicate record? All column values are same in some other row, then that is called as a duplicate record. So how to write this query? Same only. Select all the column. This also we already discussed. Select all the column names with comma, then count star from the table name, group by all the column names, then having count star greater than 1. Here all columns we have to give, in column level only one column we have to give. That is the difference. Okay, next check is constraint related. So constraint for the last batch we have not completed. In next 1 or 2 class we'll do this. Primary key, foreign key, default, not null, unique, check. These are 6 constraints available. Which constraint is available for which column? Based on the document, it is present or not. We can check that. That is one test case. So using which data dictionary table it can be extracted, it can get user underscore constraint is one data dictionary table. Using that we can get the information. So select star from user underscore constraint where table name equal to your table name, employee or something. So which column is having what type of constraint, it will be mentioned. It will display in that. So based on our document, suppose customer ID is having primary, it is there or not primary. Another column is mentioned, suppose region ID is foreign key, that is foreign key or not. So which key is defined for which column, we can check that. That is one test case. Then ensure the data are loading as per constraints defined columns as per the design document. Okay, so which constraint type we can check, that is one test case, and another is that constant is enable or disable using this user constant. So user constant, if you will check, suppose here select star from, okay, here it is displaying constant type. P means primary key, C means primary key constant, C means check constant, C check constant, U is unique key constant, F means foreign key constant. Like that it will be mentioned. So here we have not given our table name, where table name equal to employees, suppose. So in that employees table, which type of constants are present for which columns, it will display in this column. Now next column will be status. Here if it is mentioned enable, then that constant is activated, enable. If it is mentioned here disable, then that is deactivated. So these two columns only we have to check here. Okay, so enable, disable we can get. Suppose in your document it is mentioned primary key constant of customer ID in this table should be disabled. So you can check that column in this user constant table. It should mention here as disabled. Then test case is passed. Similarly, for which column it is mentioned in the document, enable, disable, we can check here. And another is what type of constant. Two test cases will be there. Okay, next is key columns. Some keys are there. So almost all keys will be covered here: primary key, foreign key, default, not null, unique key, check constant. All those are one key only. Apart from that, some other key also there. One is surrogate key and another is composite key. Okay, so for last page it is not completed key concept. We'll discuss in that session. Surrogate key and composite key. What is that? Surrogate key means in data warehouse, we already discussed this concept, surrogate key. This is also one kind of primary key, but it will be the sequence number and only numeric value. So which column is surrogate key? That column we have to check. Any non-numeric value is present or not. If non-numeric value is present, then that is a bug. Sequence is there or not. If not sequence, then that is a bug. Okay, so how to check sequence number is there or not in a column? One likely query is there. I will send that in document. It is mentioned in that material. Okay, composite key means more than one primary key. If it is present in a table, then that is called as a composite. Okay, so some table can contain more than one primary key also. In that case, we can tell it as a composite key. So these two are key check if it is mentioned in the document. Next is business rule. So business rule, based on the requirement, some rules will be there, some logic will be there. If you will see the document, then only it can be understandable what rule is there, what logic they are implementing. Based on that, it is added or not. So this will come in Informatica level, data logic, Informatica level, procedure is different. All these are Informatica level. So later on we will discuss on this. So using SQL, you have to validate all these test cases. And few are from Informatica with ETL concept. Okay, and if Unix is added in some project, then these are few test cases for Unix related also. And Unix 1 to 10 commands is not helpful. If learning, then completely learn. If not learning, then leave that. It is not like that all requirements, all projects, it is using Unix, not like that. If you will not mention Unix shell script in your resume, you will not get those related calls. That is also available, many calls. If you will mention, then including Unix shell script related calls also you will get, and you will get little bit extra package also. 50,000, 1 lakh extra package also you will get. ETL testing with Unix shell script. Okay, so rest of the test cases we'll discuss later. You can go through all these and try to understand. Anywhere, any project, any company, any location across the globe you can go. This will be common one. Apart from this, based on your project, again you need to add 15, 20 or 30 test cases. And this is purely ETL related. Report related already we discussed in last class. This is ETL related, and application related, that is different one. You need to understand the requirement in application level, what exactly that is.